It's about time I take the leap. And a problem that we all have if we are thinking of taking the leap into building a music career or a music business or growing into becoming an artist who releases music regularly is how on earth we're going to get someone to care. Because beyond the benefits of actually making it for yourself and enjoying it and feeling fulfilled, beyond that, in terms of actually releasing it, this is something I've struggled with, is feeling like, well, what's the point when there's already so much music, content, video that is coming out, like a gushing fire hose every single day? How am I ever going to break through? How am I ever going to get anyone else to care about what little old me is doing? That's actually the wrong question. You don't want to be asking, how am I going to get someone else to care? How am I going to convince somebody else to care? Because in reality, you can't do that. The question you want to ask instead is, what do people already care about? What is it that every single person on this planet cares about? And what will they always care about? And there's a single answer to this question. Every single person on this planet cares about themselves. Now, in case what I've just said immediately makes you think, oh no, this is absolutely terrible, we're all so selfish. Human beings are social creatures, which means that being selfish requires that we are selfless. If I only think about myself and don't take into account other people, then I am in fact damaging myself. So one of the best ways to be selfish is to be selfless. That's what I'm talking about in terms of my music and your music. Instead of asking ourselves the question, how do I get someone else to listen to my music, to care about my music? Instead, I'm asking myself, what do they want? What is it that they are looking for in a piece of music? So in other words, in order to further my own goals, my own music, I need to be thinking about other people. Selfish and selfless at the same time. One of the best ways to get what you want is to help other people get what they want. So what is it that you get? What is it that people get from the music that they listen to? Over the years, I've asked an enormous number of people what they get from the music that they listen to. And one of the things that's incredible is how consistent the answers are. And there are a lot of different ways of saying what I'm about to say, but I can essentially boil it down for you. One of the things that people reliably get from music is an escape. The music takes them somewhere. Another thing that most people get from music is a sense of connection, connecting to a larger culture or to other people. Inspiration. Music makes them feel like they want to do something. It's a motivating force. It's also a way of expressing ourselves, even for people who don't make music themselves. The music that they listen to, it's almost like a way of expressing who they are. It's an identity. Another thing which I guess is related to all of the above is a way of discovering ourselves. Music can teach us things about ourselves by kind of reflecting back how we feel about things. It allows us to discover something about ourselves that maybe we hadn't realized before. And in so doing, music can also provide us an enormous amount of comfort, a feeling that we're not alone, which again brings us to this sense of connection and community. You may have different ways of expressing what I've just said, but I'll bet that what you get from music probably fits into one or more of the categories that I've just described. So when I'm thinking about the meaning of the music I'm making, what I am expressing, the purpose of my music, but also how I'm going to release it, how I'm going to package it, the world I'm building in it and around it. One of the things that I am paying attention to is serving other people, creating something that other people will connect with, will resonate with, something that they find compelling. Now, there's a couple of important health warnings I want to put on what I just said. When I say making music for other people, with other people in mind, I'm not talking about making music with an idea of what a certain group of people whose minds I can't read, what I think they will like. So, for example, something that I did used to do, this was in the long and distant past before I understand what I now understand about the human mind and how people hear and listen to music, but I used to make music trying to impress, for instance, a label or a particular DJ or something like that, imagining, delusionally, that I knew what it was that they wanted. So when I'm talking about making music for other people, it's not as obvious, it's not as direct as that. When I'm making music, I am expressing something about my own experience. But when I'm doing that, I'm trying to do it as authentically as possible so that I can connect with other people. I think that people can hear when you're not being true, when you're not being authentic, and that can feel very frightening. That's one of the reasons that I often say, when you're making a piece of music and you're not sure if it's absolutely brilliant or utterly terrible, that's often a good sign. It's not always a good sign because it could be terrible, but it's often a good sign because you're actually bearing something which feels uncomfortable because you're pulling the mask down, if you like. So when I'm talking about making music for other people, what I'm really talking about, again, it comes back to this selfishness thing again. You're actually being your truest self. You're attempting to be your truest self. That doesn't mean talking about what you had for breakfast and everything that you write about has to be what actually happened. In fact, in a lot of the music that I'm making, I'm embellishing and changing things to make it more fantastical. But it's a little bit like watching House of the Dragons or something like that, where I don't think anyone I know anyway is a king or a queen who rides around on a dragon, right? By watching these stories, we learn something about ourselves, about human beings. And, you know, in that particular show, probably some of the worst parts of being a human being. So when I say I'm thinking about other people, what I'm talking about is I'm making the music that speaks to me, even if that makes me feel uncomfortable, because I know it's likely to reach other people. I'm not talking about trying to impress other people with something that is false, with a piece of music that is like a mask. And trust me, I've done that many times in the past. And the other thing I don't mean by making music for other people is that I expect my music to resonate with everyone. There isn't an artist on the face of this planet who, you know, even the biggest artist, whose music is for everyone. At the start of this year, I listened to the top 50 albums according to Pitchfork. Not because I believe Pitchfork or I hold them up as an arbiter of what's good and what's bad, just because I wanted to listen to a bunch of albums that some people thought were good. And one of the real insights that I got was that there's an enormous amount of great music out there, for a start. And the second thing is that a lot of this music, in fact, the vast majority of it, wasn't made for me, but it still resonated with me. I still got a lot from it. I mean, some of it was so alien to me, but actually, while a lot of these artists, I'm sure, have a particular demographic, a particular group of people in mind, the people who surround them, the people who they know in mind when they're making music, music is more universal than that. But universal does not mean for everybody. In fact, with my artist music business, I'm taking the opposite approach. I want to create experiences, worlds with my music and around my music that speak to and resonate with and connect with and inspire and motivate a group of people, no matter how small, but who find it unique and valuable. So I've already spoken about how I'm doing that within the music, but around the music, how I'm thinking of releasing the music is building worlds around it. When you think about some of the biggest artists, even Taylor Swift, Billie Eilish, Childish Gambino has just released an album. They create worlds around their music. The music is certainly the central part of it, but they're telling stories which the listeners can get involved in. And while it's highly unlikely, probably almost impossible, that I'm ever going to get to those levels of stardom, and I don't think I really want to either, creating that kind of compelling experience both with the music, so led by the music, but around the music, whether it be via text or via video or via images, doesn't matter. But essentially, telling a story and building a world around the music is how I'm choosing to do it. Because I know that by doing that, by creating a consistent and compelling experience where I'm telling a story of this character who has many of the problems that I have. I mean, the character isn't me exactly, but this character is going on a hero's journey of their own, where they're facing certain problems and difficulties and overcoming them. I know that this will connect and resonate with a group of people. And I can do this in a unique and therefore extremely valuable way. Because in its most simple terms, the basis, the essential ingredients of a successful business are: number one, a valuable product that a group of people want; number two, that group of people; and number three, a way of getting that valuable product to those people. So that is what I am going to focus on from this point onwards. I'm not worried about massive numbers. I'm not worried about playing somebody else's game. I'm simply focused on creating a valuable product that a group of people want, and with that product, attracting a group of people who want it. So what I'm going to do now is play the first song on the album that I've been working on over the past few months. In later episodes, I'm going to break down the track, talking about how I'm reflecting the purpose in the music, how I'm building a world around it, how I'm using my own sonic signpost to create something unique. But for now, to finish this episode, I'm just going to play it to you. And whether you love it or you hate it or anything in between, have a listen and notice for yourself how you think I'm fulfilling what I've talked about over the last 10 minutes.
I think I have a problem when I hear from someone a voice who's made a choice, a path I didn't take. I lose a slice of freedom to my green-eyed demon, and my demon doesn't realize that my journey is my own. Comparisons are a thin disguise for a fear of the unknown. I think I have a problem, a thieving, deceiving hobgoblin leaving no option but fleeing from him to weaken his numbing toxin that's leading me to my coffin. I think